The Cowboys scout that was instrumental in drafting you wrote in his report that you would someday make Cowboys fans forget about the Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett, who used to run for them. And then, draft day comes and you're, expected to go very high.
Right.
Tell about what happens and then the call you get from the coach, Jimmy Johnson.
Well, every player comes out and there's these experts that have their mock drafts, and I was projected to go in the top 10. And so looking at the top 10 at that time, I thought I had a chance to go to Tampa Bay, which was obviously only 2.5 or an hour and a half from Gainesville, which made sense to me. I thought I had a chance. If I didn't go there, I thought I would have a chance to go to Seattle and play out in Seattle. And so when the top 5 went by and Tampa Bay passed me over, then Seattle passed me over, then the top 10 went by, I did not know what was going to happen. I didn't know. I started to get very nervous because I wanted to go in the top 10. Then I fell back to the 17th pick. About that time, the Cowboys made a trade, and I got a call from Jimmy saying we're gonna draft you, and how would you like to wear a star on your helmet? And it was like a dream come true for me. Because I had loved the Cowboys when I was 7 years old, and I still love them to this day. So no offense to Arizona, but being out there, the Big Wheels, they always treated me with respect. They took care of me. I loved them, and still do to this day, respect them wholeheartedly. But coming back in Texas Stadium and playing as an Arizona Cardinal versus playing as a Dallas Cowboy absolutely broke my heart. It shattered it. And I knew right then and there.
And why did that affect you so much?
Because for 13 years, I had got dressed in the home locker room. For 13 years, I played on Thanksgiving Day. For 13 years, I played for the organization that I always wanted to play for, in a sport that I absolutely loved, a sport that I believe chose me, and a sport that, to me, is everything that any person want to learn about life must play, because football is one of those life sports. And that day, getting dressed in the visitors' locker room, I hardly ever been in the visitors' locker room in 13 years.
Right.
I'm walking into the visitors' locker room and I'm sitting at my locker and I'm thinking that my team is on the other side of the wall. And I could not get over that. It broke my heart so much, I cried for almost 30 minutes sitting in my locker while all my other Cardinal teammates was walking around looking at me like, wow. I cried like a baby. And went on the field and got hurt and came back in, and it was like, this just didn't work out well.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I could think of was honoring out my commitment, because my mom and many coaches finish what you start, and that's what I wanted to do for the Cardinals. I wanted to finish what I started with the Arizona Cardinals. I wanted to honor out my contract, which I did, and what I'm thankful of is I gave them everything I had left, and what I'm proud of the fact is I ended my last football season the same way I started it. 930 some odd yards to the number.
How bitter were you that the Cowboys released you before that?
I wasn't bitter at all.
You weren't?
No, because I knew I wanted to continue to play. I felt like I still had something to prove. I wasn't bitter that the fact that I knew Jerry had to make a tough decision. They wanted to go younger with Troy Hambrick, who was stronger, faster, bigger, back than I was, and I understood it. It was just business at that time.
Yeah.
And so they had to make a business decision.